Welcome to the City Show. Pat O Melia here. Are you there? That's why I do the show. Because you're there. I'd be talking to myself otherwise. Don't forget everything on the bottom of the screen. Actually, I got hot coffee today. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, and don't forget on live stream. That's our base streaming network where we archive all our shows. It is free to download. There's a lot of other programming besides the Hudson Media Group and Ready to Roll. So for your entertainment, you can do that. And like I said, everything on the bottom of the screen. Our website is working. We have some sort of a victory with GoDaddy. But over the weekend, they hit me for $30 for renewing a domain name, where they put some protection thing on there for $16. Yeah, they're really despicable. Yeah, I can go fight them for the 16, but I'd rather not risk a problem with the website again. Bayonne has unveiled a 20th anniversary 9/11 memorial, a monument. It's a pretty good idea. I'm thinking that we rededicate the 9/11 fountain on Journal Square. Now, we're in the process of fundraising. We're setting up a GoFundMe site. We're taking pictures and all. And I had spoken to Mayor Fulop, and at that time, there was a bunch of legal issues between the developer, Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, and the city is a real mess. So Mayor Fulop had said, hold off on this so we clear the decks of all the problems. And we did. So the decks are apparently clear, and there is plans to begin construction soon on the site of the old hotel on the square right next to the fountain. I spoke to Mayor Fulop about it, and he says, let's get the plans, let's see what they're doing. Here's the deal. We're going to raise about $100,000 to refurbish the fountain and the Circle of Honor. I'll fist fight Mayor Fulop before I allow that fountain bearing the names of 37 residents of Jersey City who died on 9/11, 36 in the towers, one on Flight 93, the flight that fought back. Before I allow any bulldozer to bulldoze that and desecrate that site, I will honestly fist fight Fulop before we do that. No city has demoed a 9/11 monument. Most of them even kept their temporary ones. Nobody's ever demoed one, and I'll be damned if Jersey City is going to do it. If I have to fist fight Fulop, I will do it. We are going to refurbish that. It'll be a pride of Journal Square. But let me break for commercial. We'll pick this up on the flip side. You're watching The City Show. I'll be right back.
Jersey City Medical Center is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County because your heart doesn't beat just for you. So get it checked. When your bones are healthy, it lifts us all. We're delivering joy daily in our Lord Abbott Maternity Wing and providing New Jersey's only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center. We'll continue building our medical network and taking every precaution for your safety so that we can all be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. We're back. Pat O Melia here. You there? City Show. Don't forget everything on the bottom of the screen. Before I get to the topics, let me finish with the fountain. I dedicated that fountain in 2002. Mayor Cunningham and I, great fanfare. We engraved the 37 names on the fountain. We had priests and rabbis. It's blessed, and it should be. It is sacred ground. To desecrate that is a sin. It's a sin against the moralities of Americans. That is the first 9/11 memorial in Jersey City. That was there before anything went on in Liberty State Park around downtown. That was the first one. Johnny Burns is involved with me on refurbishing that. We'll do the refurbishing, and along with the Circle of Honor. The Circle of Honor honors the who's who and who of Jersey City. There are former leaders in there, civic leaders, 5 cops who lost their lives in a line of duty here in Jersey City. It's very important that we keep that. 9/11, we have to keep that in our hearts, and that fountain's got to stay on the square. It's city-owned, and it's on city-owned property, and it was paid for. There was like a $19 million T grant that was given to redo that whole section of Jersey City. Of course, Jersey City let everything go to hell in a handbasket. But the fountain is part of that, and part of that T grant money was it to be maintained in perpetuity. And we're going to make sure that it's maintained in perpetuity. I'm not against the development of what's going to go on the old hotel on the square side with the Kushner project, but I'll be damned if anybody's going to desecrate that fountain with those 37 names on it. It ain't going nowhere. No red-blooded American would allow that to happen. You're not American if you would. All right, let's get to what's going on. Jersey Journal yesterday had a story about the building boom in Journal Square, in Jersey City, and in Journal Square. It's like there's oil under the land here in Jersey City. I think the story spoke to about 2,625 units of housing that's gone before the planning board, or it's about to go before the planning board. And, last week we did a story on this where we were talking, I think it was about 2,200 units of housing. And that was the Moore's Canal Manor, and I think it was the 3 towers we were talking about on Pavonia that are going up. Every week at the planning board has been meeting every week because there is such a rush to get development going in Jersey City. So every week there's like 2,000, 3,000 units of housing coming online. Well, looking for the permission to come online. Last week I spoke about the 2,200 units, and if there was one child in each one of those units, that would be 2,200 kids. That's like, we need like 2.5 schools. Here we are looking at the Jersey Journal story. I think it was 2,625 units. And the units of housing coming online didn't include the 2,200 we spoke about last week. So, we're looking at 4,825 units of housing coming up. And it amazes me when people say, well, not everybody's going to have kids. Well, you know what? When I go down by, I'm down here all the time by the cast iron lofts, there's a lot of kids out there. There's a lot of baby strollers and all. There's a lot of cars out there. So there's 2 fallacies there that people in Jersey City, if they move into these high-rises or these new developments, they won't have children. And, of course, they won't need a car. Well, that always seems to fly in the face of reality, doesn't it? Because, again, go down by cast iron lofts on 18th in Jersey. There used to be an industrial down there, and it's, they build all these high-rises, and they're building some now. And there's a lot of cars down there. I mean, there's cars everywhere. Yeah, there's stress for parking. There's parking going up Hoboken Avenue behind Christ Hospital. So the fallacy is when we lie to ourselves constantly in Jersey City. Yeah, there'll be no children. Of course there's going to be children. Are there going to be one in every unit? Probably not. But, it probably balances out where this unit doesn't have one, the next unit has some kids. If you get like 3-bedroom units, guess what? There's going to be kids. So who are we kidding ourselves when we start talking about schools? Now, the school, it's a huge hot-button issue here in Jersey City with the budget. And here we are, we're looking at 4,825 units of housing between the Jersey Journal story and what we talked about last week. That's very conceivably could be 4,825 kids of various ages who are going to need to go to school. Now, keep in mind, what these units being developed aren't like people moving from west side of Jersey City into these. We are attracting people predominantly from New York City. They're escaping New York. It's too expensive. But Jersey City's right across the river on a path ride. And it's almost the same. We can see it and we can get to New York City. We can be in New Yorkers and live in Jersey City. But they're trying to escape. So let's take those 4,825 units, put one kid in each one. Like I said, some are going to have one kid, some will have 2, some will have none, but I bet we're not too far off the number. I know somebody in the story, Jersey Journal, said If you just had 20% of the units had kids, come on, 20% of the units, you know we're going to have more kids than that. Again, go down by Cast Iron Lofts. A lot of kids down there. Just basically go anywhere downtown. There's a lot of kids. When I go to City Hall, I'm riding down there. You see baby strollers. You see kids all over, families. There's children. And there was a school shortage in downtown Jersey City because we boomed, but we didn't build any schools. So let's take a look at the 4,825 kids now, again, between what I talked about last week in the Jersey Journal story. And that's a look at PS 23. Right now, nobody has gotten back to me. Let me take a tour of my old alma mater there, my grammar school, where they keep talking about how all the schools are in terrible shape. Well, PS 23 has about 1,300 kids. If we use the math of 23 school with 1,300 kids, we're not building schools that big anymore, we would almost need 4 more schools just to handle what the Jersey Journal was talking about and what I spoke about last week. And how many schools are in the pipeline to be built? Not a one. But we keep building. The buildings are going up. And we're not even addressing the 2 and 3 family homes. If it's 2 family, it's an illegal 3. If it's a 3 family, it's an illegal 4 family. And all of those will have kids too. We're not addressing that. We never do. Now, the only way you're going to have developments of this nature that don't have children involved in it if you're building a lot of senior housing. But if you're building rental units where couples are going to move into, you're going to always pretty bet there are going to be some children coming along, or they're already going to be there. If you have units with 2, 3 bedrooms, there's going to be children there. Like I said, pass by Cast Iron Lofts. All that new development over the last 10 years, a lot of kids there. All right, let's break for commercial. You're watching The City Show. I'll be right back.
I've got cancer.
We've got the highest level of cancer care.
The latest clinical trials.
Researchers working to find a cure.
And nurse navigators to guide you every step of the way.
At New Jersey's only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center, your safety has always been our top priority.
I've got cancer, but I also have peace of mind.
Jersey City Medical Center and Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey. Let's beat cancer together.
I'm back. Pat O Melia, City Show. Don't forget everything on the bottom of the screen. Get in touch with us. Our website is working amazingly. Now, we keep focusing on kids. There will be possibly 1 kid for each one of those units. What there will be is probably, if you have 1 kid, you probably have 2 parents, right? For the most part. It's between the kids and the 2 parents, we're looking at a total of 14,475 new residents to the city of Jersey City. And again, I don't know how many people, I doubt if any Jersey City people are leaving the west side of the Heights to move into these complexes. So the cry for density is always for people who don't live here in Jersey City yet. That number, 14,475, is pretty much 5% of our population from the last census, the 2021. 5%, just in those 2 stories, our story from last week and the Jersey Journal. And both of us are just looking at weekly planning board meetings now that go 5 to 6 hours because there's so much going on in Jersey City. These buildings are really just a small sample from those 2 stories of what's going on in Jersey City because, we're looking at it, the last 2 planning board meetings. But, there were planning board meetings all through the beginning of this year. And each one, if you go back, there's thousands of units of housing. Where are these people going? Where are the kids going to go to school? There is zero thought when we're planning and developing in Jersey City for meeting the needs of these new residents coming into Jersey City. Again, these aren't Jersey City people, running from the other side of town to live in these units. No, these are people coming from New York and elsewhere, but predominantly from New York. There's no planning, as I said this last week, where we would intersect with the needs of these new residents coming in and with schools or infrastructure or parking. That's another thing. Stop the lies about parking. We need parking. Again, go down by the Cast Iron Lofts. There's cars all over the place. They don't need cars. Oh, I gotta have cars down there. They're close to the light rail. Oh, yeah, boo. You know what? Bull what? There's no planning at all. There is no plans to build any schools in Jersey City. There's some things with the developers where we're kind of making a horse trading here where really we're bribing. We're talking about, well, you give us the density and the variances we need and we'll build a little schoolhouse for you. Something like from Michael Landon on Little House on the Prairie would have had. The one they were talking about was this, the Saddlewood project. I think it had like 12 rooms, 15 classrooms. That's not even close to what we need with this influx. And again, we're only looking at a very small sample. What I talked about last week, 2,200 units, and what the Jersey Journal is talking about, another 2,600 units. Just these two planning board meetings, we're looking at 4,800 units of housing. These are going to happen. They will be going to come online and they will be rented. And there are going to be kids in there. There's going to be needs for parking. There's going to be infrastructure needs. There's going to be city service needs. There's going to be more cops, more fire people. But we're not planning for that. We're just building, build. Basically what we're doing is the proverbial, we're stuffing 5 pounds of crap in a 2-pound bag, a reusable 2-pound bag. I'm going to be talking about plastic bag hacks later on. That's what's happening here. We are not addressing the needs of these future residents. There's no school there. The state's not coming and building any schools. The city's not building any school. I think the last school that the city of Jersey City actually had a hand in building, probably 28th School, Christy McCauley, on Hancock, and that was during Jerry McCann's time as mayor. That was probably the last actual one built by the city. You have one on Laylaw, but that was built from the state. So we're not building, and there's no groundbreaking going on building any schools. We're not putting any new floors on any of these schools. We don't have room at the inn for the children of these new residents, nor are we addressing it. We'll just talk about overcrowding. Oh, tremendous overcrowding in these classrooms. Yeah. We keep building. And I guess the idea is, we'll figure something out with those kids. We need to stop lying to ourselves about the development here in Jersey City. Yeah, it's incredible that we do this. There will be kids associated with all this development, and those kids will have to go to school. But we don't have any schools. One of the things that has saved Jersey City is the Catholic schools. The Catholic Archdiocese got out of the school business. They really in the real estate business, the Catholic Church now. Fortunately, charter schools would take over the schools immediately, like St. John's on St. Paul's and Kennedy Boulevard, and pretty much everyone, and every Catholic school that is closed turned into a charter school. That has saved Jersey City, but that ain't the answer, because those schools were here before with kids already in those classes. Just that now you're going to have more kids going there, because before they were all looking for religious education. There will be kids, but we don't have the schools for them. There will be cars. We have no place to park them. And again, stop lying to ourselves when we say we don't need the cars. Oh, we're not going to use cars. For that matter, there was a story on Google, it's a year-old story, about moving and living in Jersey City. And it speaks to this mass transit. Mass transit options in Jersey City. We don't. We have the path. Now, we always got like compared to New York City. There ain't no subways coming in Jersey City. That ain't happening anytime soon. Actually, it'll never happen. We have the path. That is way overpacked as it is. We have some ferry service. New Jersey Transit's abysmal. The light rail goes to nowhere. The only time I actually see people on light rail is when it's going into Bayonne. In the morning, I see it coming down Patterson Plank Road. There's nobody on the light rail. And in the story, I don't believe there are any mention of schools. When, moving to Jersey City, what you can expect, talk about nightlife and food and that sort of thing. They didn't mention anything about the schools. It will never happen, but Jersey City needs to slow down and catch up to what we've already built. But that's not going to happen. We need to catch up with what we've done in the last decade or so to address the needs of these new residents and their children. and the infrastructure and everything that's associated with these people coming. And again, stop lying to ourselves. There will be kids and there will be cars. Now, I don't want to get into knocking the bike people, but in Jersey City, we see thousands of cars every day and a handful of bikes. There will be cars. For that matter, in the story, I think they said 50% of the Jersey City residents use mass transit to commute to work. I doubt that number is accurate. Remember, all of this isn't for Jersey City residents. All this building that's going on is for people who don't live here. But the Jersey City residents get left holding the bag here. Somewhere or another, we have to do some thoughtful city planning on how to intersect when the need arises. But we're not even close to doing that. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You're watching The City Show. I'll be right back.
Jersey City Medical Center has a passion for heart health. We're Hudson County's only full-service heart hospital with innovative technologies and premier cardiovascular physicians, a partnership with Rutgers Health, the latest technology and medical advancements, and nationally renowned care for every heart in every community. Whoever your heart beats for, our hearts beat for you. Jersey City Medical Center.
We're back. Pat O Melia, City Show here. Frank Gilmore, he's our new councilman from whatever. Frank Gilmore is proposing a 1% income tax on the people of Jersey City. I'm sure Frank's heart is in the right place. But 1% income tax on the residents of Jersey City, dedicated to the Jersey City Board of Education budget, is throwing good money after bad. Because until they open the books, all we can figure is bad money. Here's the thing. The Jersey City Board of Ed is a endless money pit. Now, we have to understand that money pit because you're getting beat over the head. This is a school system with a $974 million budget. It has 29,113 kids. Do the simple math on that, you come out to about $33,500 per kid per year. The school I mentioned before, PS 23, my grammar school, using the school's own numbers and the amount of students in 23 school, it costs over $44 million a year just to run PS 23 school. That's incredible. The Jersey City Board of Ed just jacked up your taxes $1,600. They jacked it up $1,000 last year and may have full up covered that with COVID money. You can't do that this year. So you're looking at $2,600 tax increase. But you're also looking at least another $1,000 next year. The city can't cover what it did last year, so we're looking at $2,600. As always, it's more money for the school system. We need more money. We need no more money. But there's never any accountability. They don't open the books. They can't prove the need for this money. Even with former Board of Education members looking at jail time for committing various frauds, there's still no accountability. And all the good-hearted people are like, well, we've got to get more money to the schools. No, the schools have got to show us what they're doing with the money. There will be no affordability, no affordable housing in Jersey City when the school keeps jacking up the taxes, $1,600, $2,000 a year. Now you throw another 1% income tax along, that's another 1%. And people say, well, it's only 1%. Well, it's another 1%. Because we have a 1% on open space in the county. We have an 1% on open space for the city. We have, 1% for the arts. We have 1% for this one. Well, then 1% all add up. Affordable housing, there can be no affordable housing when the cost of the city keeps going up like it does. $2,600 hike in your property taxes, that's going to be passed along to the renter. Renters are going to be looking at $200-300 a month increase, depending on their assessment. We need to know how the Board of Education's budget is constructed. You have the right to know how the hell they're spending the effing money that you're giving them. How are they spending? How are we looking at a system that is hovering at $1 billion a year? That's incredible. We are throwing money at the situation isn't the answer. We need to know what that budget is being spent on, and we never get that answer. That's why Mayor Phillips got to take some action. The buck stops with Phillips. And the thing is, 80% of the city gets their tax bill and they blame Phillips. They don't realize there's multiple portions to the tax bill, and one of the big one is the school budget. Quick hit, speed cams for Jersey City. Who is in favor of speed cams in Jersey City? After the boondoggle of the red light cameras a few years ago, who the hell would be in favor of speed cams? What a nightmare the red light cams were. I remember Joan Quigley, former assemblywoman, and we were getting ticketed constantly down at 18th and Jersey Avenue. And you try to fight the ticket, there was some mystical board that made the decisions. You couldn't even get the names of the people served on the board. Speed cams would be nothing more than a backdoor tax on the people of Jersey City. And the other thing is, where the hell are you speeding in Jersey City? Yeah, you're not speeding on Kennedy Boulevard. You're not speeding on Central Avenue. You're not speeding on West Summit Avenue. You're not speeding on West Side Avenue. You're not speeding on Montgomery Street. You're not speeding on Palisade Avenue. You're not speeding on Jersey Avenue, Washington Street, Garfield Avenue, MLK Drive. Where the hell are you speeding? When I leave to go down to have a meeting at City Hall, it's taken me like 45 minutes to get from the Heights down to City Hall. Or, I should say, from my studio in North Bergen to City Hall. I don't have a problem until I hit Jersey City. I know when I'm in Jersey City from North Bergen, the traffic. It's either the roads are closed, there's traffic, with the potholes. Who the hell is speeding in Jersey City? I just don't understand why anybody would want speed cam. And I've driven all around Jersey City all my life. I've been driving in Jersey City at least 50 years. I just don't know where we're having all these issues with speed. And if a bad guy is speeding, believe me, he's not going to be damn concerned about getting a ticket for going through for speeding. He's a bad guy. That's what we have cops for. Let the cops put up their roads, their speed traps. Let the county, the sheriff's department, put the speed traps together. A pad stop on West Side Avenue, just north of Broadway. They're considering that with a lot of the new development going on. But it's not new. When I was a kid, there was a pad stop there. There used to be the gates would come down, and the pass train would go by, and the freight trains would go by, and the gates would go up. For that matter, in the picture you're looking at, hopefully we can go full screen on it so you can see it. You see a mother and a son there waiting to cross. That's the old path, or back then we called it the tube. That is very possibly my mother and I waiting to cross over to go home. We used to cross right there and cut through the tracks, walk along the railroad tracks to get the dog patch, Jersey City, West End. So, yes, the train used to stop and let people get on and off. So it's not a big deal. Just as I question now, how close do we want to have another stop to Journal Square? And believe me, when you see the PATH train now coming out of Newark, it is packed. I don't see how anybody's getting on in Journal Square. Plastic bag hacks. Now, this is starting on May 4th. I'm going to do some more on this. When we go for a food order, we'll come out of the ShopRite with like 10 or 15 plastic bags. I actually prefer brown paper, but for some reason, brown paper is not going to be given out at the supermarket. Biodegradable, I don't know what the problem with the brown paper bags are. I'm not going to walk around like a bag lady with 10 to 15 plastic bags in my pocket or in another bag. What I am planning on doing, when I go to the checkout, I'm going to put my stuff on the conveyor, and when it comes off, I'm going to put it right back in the cart. Hopefully it's not raining outside. And then when I get out to the car, I'm going to open the hatch on whatever car I'm driving, or the trunk, and then I'm going to bag it right out in the parking lot. I'm not going to run around with a big sack of freaking plastic bags with me. I'm going to figure out some more hacks. I'll keep you posted on that. So we are now at a show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.